Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Raynell Jamal, and this is another episode of my series, Kendrick versus Drake Retrospective Reactions. If this is your first time following us, you should know what this is all about. What I've been doing is giving you my retrospective reaction to the songs that came out during the battle on the 1 year anniversary that this songs drops. So we started off with Like That, and then the last episode was 616 in LA. If you want to catch up, please check the description and I will have all the links in the previous episodes there. I'm actually going to put them all in one playlist. So you'll be able to see from Like That all the way up to the last episode, which was 616 in LA. And that's where we be. Now, after 616 in LA came out, we already start to hear the rumblings that Drake had a nuke that he was going to be dropping, right? He had a nuke that he was going to be dropping. So on May 3rd, 616 start off the day. We got that early in the morning at 6:16 a.m., which is just crazy. And now throughout the day, we're seeing from academics, we're seeing from Drake accounts, the fan accounts, the media outlets that Drake has something that he's supposed to be dropping tonight, right? So the night of May 3rd. So the anticipation is building. And as we've been hearing from Elliott Wilson, that Drake was basically, he was basically, since Kendrick drew the line in the sand, Drake was basically drawing the line in the sand behind the scenes with certain people that was reaching out to him that, he felt was probably being a double agent to him. So he was, basically letting it be known that he don't rock with certain people no more. And after I drop this record, I don't want to hear y'all say nothing about me. So to me, in his mind, he felt like when he pushed this red button that this was going to be the end all be all, and he was going to be the number one dude. And he was going to take out Kendrick, which was his nemesis. And it was going to be nothing to be said no more. Like he was going to solidify himself with this. So, like I said, as the day is going on, we're seeing images pop up from Drake. Academics is saying stuff. And for me, what I was doing, I was just kind of looking at this play out. I was like, okay, I don't know when this is going to drop. It's whatever. But for me, I remember that night. So it was later in the night. I want to say this was around between 7 to 10 p.m. I'm on the West Coast. That Drake dropped this record. I never forget the homie threw it in the group chat and was like, Drake dropped. And I was like, oh, dang, okay, he responded, okay. And my homie who dropped it in the group chat was like, it's hard. Oh my God, he is going in. And I'm like, okay, let's see. What I did was go to Drake's Instagram page first. Now, I didn't know that there was a music video for Family Matters. I just went to Drake's Instagram page just to see how he pushed it out there. Was he going to claim this record? And that's what I want to get into. So he's basically doing a rollout. Now, mind you what I'm about to say right now, because we're going to come back to this after we go over Family Matters. There was a rollout for Family Matters. There was a rollout for Family Matters. And I'm going to touch on that after we go into this song. But anyways, I go over to Drake's page and I just wanted to see how he pushed it out there. If this is going to be a record he claimed, if he was going to put it everywhere. And as I go to his page, I see this. And this is the forgotten song in this whole back and forth. Buried Alive, Part 2. So for those who don't know, Buried Alive was a song that was on Take Care, which was what people call Drake's hip hop classic or a classic album. On that song, Buried Alive, it's a solo song with Kendrick Lamar on there. And on that song, Kendrick Lamar basically talks about how he met Drake, they met up for drinks and dinner, and Drake was giving him some advice on the game, what to expect being in the rap game, what he could get out of it, the money, the cars, the girls, the women. He was basically saying like, man, like I'm looking at this dude and he got everything that I want. And then as Drake is giving him advice, he starts to realize that in order for me to kind of obtain this level of success, I got to give up a piece of who I am. My core values are now going to have to be challenged. And Kendrick basically makes a decision. And my interpretation of the decision, it was kind of like, I'd rather die if I have to be somebody else to be successful. Now we have Buried Alive Part 2, which was an intro to Family Matters that was only on Drake's Instagram page. And what Drake did was flip this concept on his head, and he tries to rap in the same type of style and delivery, cadence, and tone that Kendrick did on his version of Buried Alive. And this is what we got.
If you in a pine box, I would shovel dirt on top. I'd play.
This is basically the same song, but this is just Drake rapping like Kendrick on this song, right?
Play this record on repeat. You always been a bitch to me. If you was in a pine box, I would still be in my spot. For you to make it to the peak, it have to be the death of me. The death.
So he's basically letting them know, hey, the only way you're gonna be able to be the number one guy in this whole situation is if I die. Because as long as I'm living, I'm number one. That's what he's basically trying to let them know, right?
Me. Looking in the mirror, still embarrassed. Stop talking how you gonna spare us. React like an infant whenever I mention. It's like you need tension, I always get attention.
Okay, so looking in the mirror, feeling embarrassed, talking about how you always gonna spare us, all of that, right? So basically, like, dog, I'm embarrassed that I even gave you an opportunity, but I'm embarrassed for you because you ain't doing nothing over here. That's what Drake basically saying, and you only use tension to get attention. Kind of referring to the whole situation going back to Control Verse. That was Drake's whole thing. Like, he felt like it was just a moment that Kendrick really wasn't spirit of being a competitive. It was in him just trying to kick up some dust just to get a moment, just to get people talking about him. That was Drake's whole gripe, Control, which was just weird in my opinion. If you're a rapper, you know that, if you're a rapper, you already know that everybody want to be number one. Even you talk about it. So it's just kind of weird. But this is what he's referring to.
You always said how you wanna bury me alive. Jealousy disguised as your motherfucking pride. Took you on your first tour with us trying to catch a vibe. I was headline, you was standing on the side. Brought you and that other hoe along for the ride. First time people lined up for your ass.
So now what he's talking about, he's referring to the Club Paradise tour that he took Kendrick on. And that is also, he's also referring to ASAP Rocky. He took them both on the Club Paradise tour. So he's basically saying, you've been jealous of me ever since. I took you and old boy on tour, and y'all been plotting on me ever since. Y'all really wasn't respectful or appreciate anything that I did for you. Y'all was just looking at me and got envious and jealous of my success as I was trying to give y'all an opportunity.
Now you saying two pussy boys getting out of line. You been hating hard for a very long time. It feel like Twitter ghost writing your reply. Streets out here talking like at least a nigga tried. That's how you felt in 2011 while we wasting time. Dreams come true, Crody, this is where you die.
Now he's trying to say the streets is trying to say, well, at least he's trying. It's like, yeah, you only responding with stuff you see online, and you only getting the respect of giving it a try to take me out, but it ain't gonna happen. You asked for this, and because you asked for this, you about to die. So this is essentially an intro to set up Family Matters. We don't talk about this because obviously it was meh. Like, it is what it is. I don't know if he wanted this to be his version of 616 in LA, where he was basically trying to give his final warning before he dropped Family Matters. Like Kendrick was giving Drake his final warning, knowing that he was about to drop Family Matters. But this is what we got. Buried Alive Part 2. So like I said, I just went to Drake's page just to see if he wrote it out in officially claimed it. So he did. You see, he put up the whole cover for Family Matters, but on the cover of it was Buried Alive Part 2 music. And then I saw the music video. I'm not going to pull up the music video because since doing this whole series, every time I react to Drake stuff, they be trying to take that joint. No, I'm just not going to pull up the music video because I don't want to get caught up in the copyright situation. Seems like the stuff I did on Drake, they really try to block it. You know what I mean? And I just don't want to go through that. So, and they might even do it with this, but we finna get into it.
Maybe in this song, you shouldn't start by saying,
Nigga, I said it, I know that you mad. I've emptied the clip over friendlier jabs. You mentioned my seed and I deal with his dad. I gotta go bad, I gotta go bad.
So that was his mom in the beginning. Maybe you shouldn't say it. And he was referring to how Kendrick in Euphoria was saying that we don't want to hear you say ninja no more. So he starts off the song by saying it. And he's saying, you talk about my seed. Now you got to deal with his dad. I got to go bad. So he's referring to when Kendrick was saying that, you don't know nothing about that, about raising your son. He didn't talk about Adonis. He talked about you, Drake, about how you were living your life and raising your son. So it wasn't about Adonis. It was about you. But I see what you're doing here. This is you trying to justify what you're about to do on this song.
Yeah, drop a 50 bag for the mob in a spot. Drop a 50 bag, 29 for the thought.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I like the beat. Now we already know he teased this at the end of push-ups. So I like the beat.
Really trying to keep it PG. I was really trying to keep it PG. If you had a set, they give your ass a DP. To civilian gang in real life, you PC. You know who really banging.
Okay, so already I don't like this approach. If you really bang a set, you'll get DP'd. You really a civilian, all of that. But you are too. So what are we talking about? I'm not understanding that angle.
Set my nigga YG. You know who really banging set my nigga Chuck T. You know who even banging set out there is CB. And nigga Cole losing sleep on this, it ain't me.
Okay, so I just want to break this down for you for how I looked at this when I first heard this. This part fell flat to me, and this is the reason why. I told y'all in previous videos that my mom is from Compton. My dad is from Long Beach. I grew up most of my life in Carson because my grandparents lived out there my entire life. I'm familiar with West Coast gangs, the whole neighborhood that TDE and them are from. TDE started in Carson. Actually, my grandparents lived on the same block that Brandy and Ray J grew up on. So around the time Brandy was on Thea, and for those who don't know, Ray J used to be on the Sinbad show. We used to see them on my grandparents' block all the time. One of Ray J's best friends is my grandparents' godson. So I just say that to say the Carson area is very familiar with. My grandparents had a flower shop in Carson. My sister went to Carson High. I say that to say this. I have family members that are gang members. I'm not going to tell you what's said. But just because my family members are gang members doesn't mean I have the right to try to G check somebody. And that's essentially what Drake is trying to do. He's trying to G check somebody and talk about how they're civilian, they're not really from a set. And then you shout out celebrity friends of yours, alleged friends of yours, who you say, who really bang a set, YG, which is weird to throw YG into the mix of this, as if YG was going to go against the West Coast, go against the Bloods, who we all know that Kendrick is affiliated with. He's not a Blood, but he's affiliated with. But YG is a Blood from Compton. And then you bring up, who really banga said CB, guards to Chris Brown, who was a celebrity gang member. Like, there's a difference between being somebody who's really put in work and really came up through the ranks of being in a gang than somebody who just, moved to LA and decided to be a blood, and that's just how you repping it. And then you bring up CT, which is Chuck Taylor, also known as The Game. The Game's respect level. So what I say that to say is, like, if you understand how corny this is, being from somebody from the West, if you understand how gang culture in LA work, the politics of gang culture in LA, for somebody who was literally a complete foreigner who has nothing to do with LA gangs to come out and try to G-check somebody who has been certified not only by West Coast hip hop legends, but by street legends in Compton who are affiliated with the Blood Gang, that you were trying to G-check him about. I just felt that was very tone deaf. It was very corny. It spoke to, he wasn't really trying, to me, in my opinion, moving forward in this battle, wasn't really trying to win on straight rapping. He was trying to win on being controversial. And I felt like that just really backfired on him. And this to me this lets me know, like, oh, you don't got nothing on Kendrick. Because you're reaching with this.
You better have some paperwork or that shit fake tea. Can't be rapping by no ratting that we can't read. I mean, it's true, a nigga slimy for my AP. Just like how Metro nigga slimy for his main squeeze.
So he's talking about how Kendrick in Euphoria mentioned how he'll be a New Hall King getting fried rice and all that. So at New Hall King is where Drake got robbed for a watch, in that area of New Hall King. I think they said he took a girl on a date, and when he went back to his car, some people was waiting on him, and they took a watch off of him, right? So he's referring to how Kendrick mentioned that, but Kendrick didn't mention it directly. He just put out the location to let Drake know, I know what happened to you here. I already know what happened. So now he's trying to put it out there like, yeah, I got slime for my AP, just like how Metro got slime for his main squeeze. Again, like, the whole thing about this situation and how Drake is approaching it, he's giving a lot of time to everybody else except Kendrick. So, throwing in Metro, I guess, because, it was on like that and everything. But the person that's in front of you is Kendrick.
Out here begging for attention, nigga, say please. Always rapping like you about to get the slaves free. You just acting like an activist, it's make believe.
Now we already know. We already know that a lot of us, and I'm not gonna say everybody, gave a collective, huh? When we heard you always rapping like you trying to get the slaves freed, you acting like an activist is make believe. I remember when me and my wife was listening to this, and my wife was like, what does he mean by that? And I just shook my head like, just because somebody raps with a social consciousness doesn't mean that's bad. I don't get what was disrespectful or what's weird about rapping about things other than the normal money, women, cars, and the lifestyle of a rapper. I just felt that was incredibly tone deaf. Like I said about the first part of the song, where you're trying to bring gang stuff into the gang politics, and you a civilian and you could get DP. You don't live that life. You're not from out here. You're not from the West. You don't know nothing about that. Just because you hang around the game don't mean you have the ability to G-check somebody. And now you're trying to say you rapping like you're trying to get the slaves freed. It's just corny. As much as I like the beat, as I'm listening to the lyrics, and like I said on first reaction, I just was like, oh, he ain't got nothing. These are just like reaches. Like, you saying stuff that really, really ain't gonna hit like you think it's gonna hit.
Don't even go back to your hood and plant no money trees. Say you hate the girls I fuck, but what you really mean? I've been with black and white and everything that's in between. You the black messiah wifing up a mixed queen.
You see what I'm saying? Like the tone deafness of it. I didn't hit everything in between. You know, you the one who's the black messiah, wifing up a mixed queen. Like this just wasn't hitting for me. I know a lot of people hold family matters in this battle in high regard, but I felt like this ain't hitting for me. I like the beat, but the lyrics is kind of like, in my opinion, just mid. This is mid to me. And another reason why this is mid, because not once did Kendrick bring up anything personal at this point. He has kept it about rap. Literally, he has literally kept it about bars and rapping. And he has spent 2 songs warning Drake, let's keep it here. Because if you take it over there, I'm going to take it over there. And you're not going to like the way I'm going to do it. So for him to bring, he introduced the family in this, right? You bringing up his lady again, and you already been warned not to do that. Not only have you been warned not to do that on 2 songs, but you was warned not to do that when the rules of engagement and the boundaries is set at the beginning of this whole situation on a personal note between y'all two. Just keep that in mind. He brought in the gossip, the tea, and bringing up family members into he introduced that into this whole situation.
And hit vanilla cream to help out with your self-esteem. On some Bobby shit, I wanna know what Whitney need. All that puppy love was over in y'all late teens. Why you never hold your son and tell him say cheese? We could've left the kids out of this, don't blame me.
We could have left the kids up out of this, don't blame me. On some Bobby stuff, I want to know what Whitney need. I get the flip, the Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston, Kendrick's lady's name is Whitney. It's just kind of, to me, the way I took it, like a desperate attempt of trying to get the upper hand by using your popularity. Now you're trying to be desperate by introducing gossip and actually just flat out lies, because nobody has proven any other allegations in this whole battle, including Drake. And mind you, he started the whole throwing in allegations into the mix of the situation. So a lot of this, like I said, as I'm hearing it for the first time, I remember I was listening. I was just like, okay, I guess this is where we're going to go now.
You a dog and you know it, you just play sweet. Your baby mama cash was always screaming, save me. You did it dirty all your life, you tryna make peace. I heard that one of them little kids might be day free. Don't make it day freeze, cause if your GM is your bitch.
All right, so when I heard that Dave Free part, I was kind of shocked. I was shocked that he actually took this angle in trying to say it was Dave Freeze is the father of Kendrick's child. I was just like taken back, not at the like, oh, this is Dave Freeze's baby. It was more like, wow, he went there. Like, now there's no coming back from this, right? That's the kind of, it was just more like, wow, this is about to get ugly. That was literally my reaction. And I remember my wife was just looking at me with her eyes open, like, what did he just say? And I was like, wow, he took it here. He did it. Like he didn't listen to the warning. I was shocked like that.
Damn secret BD, then this is all making plenty fucking sense to me. Hey, let that shorty breathe. Shake that ass, bitch. Hands on your knees, hands on your knees, hands on your knees.
Now, I don't like the way that he said, let that shorty breathe. Shake that, B. See, I don't know if you're referring to Kendrick or you're referring to Whitney, all that. See, that's just a violation. Now, this is all violation. This is all acting tough. This is all acting tough for no reason. Like I said, this could have been straight up on some bar stuff. Keep it straight rap. You chose to take it to a place that I just don't understand why he did this. This I don't understand. You already said you rap like you're trying to get the slaves free, and now you just going crazy on his family. Like you talking about his kids, you talking about his lady, you talking about his best friend and general manager of PG Lane. Like now you just all the way violating. This is just all the way. I don't give a F. I'm violating. Why? I do not know.
Shake that ass for Drake, now shake that ass for free. Yeah, yeah. We're not that kind of free. I'm talking about my nigga Dave. Yo man, a Lil K, we call that shit a mini Drake. He always said I overlooked him, I was staring straight. These bars go over Kenny head no matter what I say.
I thought that was corny. Like, look, the short jokes, nah. For me, that just wasn't hitting. I thought that was corny. Like, I just expected a little bit more creativity and a little bit more lyrical. So this just didn't hit for me. This first part right here just didn't hit for me personally. The beat is dope, but the lyrics is kind of like, nah, this ain't it.
I know you like to keep it short, so let me paraphrase. Knew it was smoke when Abel hit us with the serenade. Niggas say, almost started reaching for my waist. Drop.
I thought this is a rap battle. I thought you feel like you better than him. Where's the lyrical ability here? Where's the lyricism? Where is the MCing? I felt like Drake is better than this. My personal opinion. And I'm not the biggest Drake fan. I do respect him as a rapper. I think he can rap. So I expected more real rapping. And I felt like this was beneath him. And him taking this approach, I just didn't understand why he had to go so hard on everybody around Kendrick. I didn't understand why he had to do that.
Drop a 50 bag for the mob in a spot. Drop a 50 bag, 29 for the thought. I was really trying to keep it. Yeah, we stop playing around and take this shit seriously.
Okay, so he said he was playing around. He gonna start taking it serious. So the beat switch is here. This is we getting a beat switch.
Niggas is a joke. I take it serious though. Yeah. Look, if Drake shooters doing TikToks, nigga really shooting in your gang. That's peace, brother. Y'all ain't getting shit shot.
All right, so the beat switch to a drill beat. You know, like them London drill beats. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you this right now. My personal opinion. This whole second part, I felt Drake was spazzing. Was it the most lyrical bars? No. But I felt the way he was flowing on this beat, to what he was doing, the way he was maneuvering and flowing in and out of the pockets on this beat. I felt like this part right here was his best rapping in the entire battle. This middle part right here, to me, my personal opinion. I thought he spazzed on this.
Nigga can't listen to the stick talking falsetto, saving for a hip hop nigga. You don't even be at home, dog. You a souvenir out the gift shop, nigga. Still mad about that one hoe. We ain't even fuck. I just lip lock with her.
So he's basically letting them know, like, I do what I want. I say what I want. I could talk about you. I could talk about your family. I could talk about everybody else, and y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it. He acting tough. He acting tough. But back to this part, he went crazy on this. I kind of wish that he would have just dropped this part by himself. Like just by itself, just this part. And left out the first part. I mean, he could have did the first part. He could have chopped this up into 3 different songs. Maybe expanded on the idea on each part, elaborate on it, instead of making this a 7-minute song with 3 different sections, with 3 different beat switches. I just felt like this was the best part of Drake's rapping out of the whole battle.
I get active when it's wartime. I ain't even really let my dick drop, nigga. What the fuck I heard Rick drop, nigga. Talking something about a nose job, nigga. Ozempic got a side effect of jealousy and doubt. I never told y'all niggas put it.
The crazy part about what he just said, and I'm just now picking it up, as we're going to see when we talk about Meet the Grams, that picture had Ozempic on it with Drake name on it. Whether it was for his dad, whether it was for Drake, we don't know. But he just said how Ozempic had a side effect of jealousy. Like, wow, a lot of this stuff didn't age well from Drake as I'm listening to it. But nonetheless, he is smashing on this second part.
The nigga in the bars let a nigga rock, kinda like your old job, nigga. House sitting on some land, but it's out where no one even really know y'all niggas. Bitches gotta drive 2 hours for you pay them just to give a blow job, nigga. Must've started up a snowball, cause my last record deal was 400 M's. These days, that's a low bar, nigga. Hey.
I like that. I like that part. You know, last deal was 400 M's. That's these days, that's a low ball. Now it speaks to the lawsuit of what he was saying. A negotiation was supposedly taking place, and then this battle started. So his whole gripe is that this battle started in the middle of negotiations, and y'all use this battle to try to lessen my value so you don't have to pay me the money that I feel I'm worth. That's not going to hold up, and we're going to talk more about that after this, after we listen to Family Matters.
Who's next on the list? Which one of my so-called niggas? Which one of my so-called niggas? Which one of my so-called niggas need a sheriff on a clip? Always knew I had to smoke y'all niggas. Good kid, Mad City van, we'll pot the latch and make the door slide. Tears running down my cheek, laughing at you pussy dying, it's a war cry. Weekend music getting played in all the spots where boys got a little more pride.
I like that. I like that. You know what I'm saying? Good kid, Mad City. You know, gotta hit the latch and let the door slide. Tears coming down my cheek. That's a war cry. I like that. I think he cooking here. He is cooking. I ain't gonna sit here and deny the fact that I personally think he's cooking in this part.
That's why all your friends dip into Atlanta paying just to find a tour guide. Able run your fucking bread, need to buy some more chains for some more guys. Let me find another street nigga I could take to the game courtside. Let me get.
Okay, so he's now talking about. I ain't gonna lie, he was going in on the Weeknd. So he's basically talking about the Weeknd manager, about how he allegedly he feels like the Weeknd manager is gay, and that, you know, he be tricking on dudes. You know, I think he's spazzing up in here. I think he's spazzing.
Get a use Ferrari for a rapper, take the nigga on a horse ride. Anything to take a spotlight off the fact the boss is a drugged out little punk sissy from the north side. Rock him talking shit again.
So he was, you know, north side now. So, you know, he's basically talking about some Toronto stuff, which is what he should be doing. Keep your mouth off of the LA West Coast gang stuff, and you talk about stuff that you know about or more familiar with. That's y'all stuff over there in the north. You leave the West business, the West business. All right? Now he's talking about Rakim, and that's ASAP Rocky's real name.
Gas cause you hit my being first, nigga. Do the math who I was hitting in. I ain't even know you.
I ain't gonna lie, he kind of slid on that one. Talking about how he hit my BM first, but do the math, who was I hitting then? Kind of referring to how he used to have a little situation going on with Rihanna, which we know they dated for a period of time. So, like I said, I think he's cooking in this whole middle part.
You rat still cause they only talking about your fit again. Probably gotta have a kid again for you think of dropping any shit again. Even when you do drop, they gon' say you should have modeled cause it's mid again.
Calling ASAP Rocky, you don't rap no more. You a model, my boy. So you might as well stick to doing that, because that's what everybody gonna think about when you drop music. You know, we're gonna see you as being Rihanna's baby daddy and a model, because you ain't a rapper no more in my eyes. Okay. He cooking the others. He cooking the others.
Smoking 50, but they should have put you on the first one trying to get it in. Ask Spring if this a good idea, the next time you cut it in a bed again. Shit, leave and tell your leader boy alone before you get your head split again. Pluto shit, maybe.
So he's basically telling you need to even ask, you know, Rihanna about messing with me. She should know. Which is kind of wild to even say that.
Made me sick to my stomach, we ain't never really been through it. Lil Wayne, he a fucking lame, so I know he had to be an influence. These niggas had a plan and they finally found a way to rope you into it. 2 separate albums dissing, I just did a Kim to it. Nigga skimmed through it.
All right, so now he's talking about Future, how him and Future never really had any issues, and the fact that they do is it hurts him. You know what I mean? So now, you know, he's basically saying like there must be a manager or somebody who influenced him to do this, and that resulted in them making 2 projects of people coming at him, and he only just skimming through it. He's skimming through it like Kim used to. So, he took a shot at Ye too, because during this time, Ye tried to drop a remix of Like That. And he's basically going in on Drake. But Kanye has a mental issue, and all we should be doing for Kanye is ignoring him and praying for him. We shouldn't be giving him any other type of attention. That's just Uncle Maul giving you his advice. You feel me?
Me and Savage had the hose dripping wet at shows, almost had to swim to it. K-Dot shit is only hitting hard when Baby King put his pen to it. Ross calling me the white boy.
Now you trying to say Baby King write for Kendrick? When we already know that you be having writers. You ain't the one who should be talking about that, my boy.
Boy, and the shit kinda got a ring to it. Cause all these rappers waving white flags while the whole fucking club sing to it. Murder scene on your man tonight, then come to vigil with the candlelight. Body at the fucking body, and Rick reading my Miranda rights. I'm going on vacation, I hope next time y'all plan it right. Cause you gotta pay for saying my name. Guess now niggas understand the price, man. What?
All right, so like I said, I felt that whole middle part he was smashing. I'm not gonna lie, I felt he was smashing. Now, but also with how he ended this, it lets me know he thought that this was going to dead everything. And I thought that was ego. I thought that he wasn't really paying attention. As much as I love this middle part of this whole song, and I felt it was wasted energy on a lot of other people when he could have dedicated this energy to Kendrick. And that's why, in a totality, in my opinion, of Family Matters, it doesn't hold up well, because a lot of the dopest parts of his disses, in my opinion, are being shot at the others.
Hey, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now. Where's your uncle at? Cause I wanna talk to the man in the house.
I don't like the singy rappy stuff. I don't like that. I don't like the singy rappy Drake stuff. I don't. Never have been a fan of it. So this right here, I don't even like this part. The beat is cool. The beat is cool. Kendrick just opened his mouth. Somebody go hand him a Grammy right now. There's this whole thing that Kendrick is the Grammy darling and everything. I just find that whole, a lot of these artists try to hate on the Grammys and everything like that. For me personally, I don't buy it, because if you don't like the Grammys, don't participate in the Grammys. And when I say don't participate in the Grammys, that doesn't mean not show up to the Grammys. That means don't submit your music to the Grammys. The Grammys matter to musicians. It doesn't make or break your career. It doesn't make fans feel either here or there about who you are as an artist. But when artists complain about the Grammys and still submit their work, it just falls short and flat to me. If you think it's too much of a political game, then don't play the game. You can still be great. Snoop doesn't have a Grammy. I think Nas only has one Grammy. Nas is my favorite rapper of all time. Do you think Nas is only my favorite rapper of all time because he got a Grammy? No. Has the Grammy got it right all the time? No. So if you don't like it, don't participate. So that's just how I feel about the whole Grammy thing. And he's not talking about where's your uncle at, because I want to talk to the man at house, referring to a song on Mr. Morale.
West Coast niggas do phase, right? Come get this ass whooping, I'm handing them out. You wanna take off for real? Then come get his legacy out of my house. A cease and desist is for hoes. Can't listen to lies that come out of your mouth. You caught a Tupac estate and beg them to sue me and get that shit down.
Now the whole, you want to take up for real, then come get his legacy out of my house. I mean, that's cool. A cease and desist is for, can't listen to lies that come out of your house. Now that doesn't age well, because Metro kind of confirmed that that's what was going on behind the scenes. We don't know. Like I said, did Kendrick call the Tupac estate? We'll never know that. I don't think he did. Didn't like the way Drake just snatched Tupac's voice and tried to insert Tupac's likeness into something that Tupac in real life wouldn't have inserted himself into, and especially wouldn't have took the side of Drake over somebody like a Kendrick Lamar. Am I biased because I'm from the West? Y'all can say what you want to say. I'm going to say what I want to say.
I'm losing perspective on beef. Boy went to send beat and I kill you for fun. Your daddy got robbed by Top. You stunning and Wayne like father like son. Anthony set up the plays. Kojo be charging you double for none. They shook about what I'ma say. But texting your phone like we already won. You tell me what I shouldn't say. But fucking my nigga, it's already done. We already know it's a 20v1. We already know why you went number one.
Now, I just find this part to be funny, you know, like, because a lot of this stuff, as we look at it from hindsight, is being confirmed that this confirms there was a conversation that was had. And I remember hearing this part, and you know, he's talking about, you know, a 20v1 and all that other stuff. And I was just kind of like, are you trying to use the 20v1 as a cover? Is that what we're talking about here? Let's go back a little.
We already won. You tell me what I shouldn't say. But fucking my nigga, it's already done. We already know it's a 20v1. We already know why you went number one.
You telling me what I shouldn't say, but F it, it's already done. So the conversation was had. That's just confirmation out of Drake's mouth that a communication was had about what Kendrick didn't want to be talked about. He wanted to keep it about rap and keep family out of it. But Drake is the, like we said before, the habitual line stepper. He is the one that's now being disrespectful. You're crossing the line. You're bringing up family. You're bringing up kids. You're bringing up friends and business managers. You're saying names. Now, you did this, not Kendrick. Is nothing personal there. The only thing that he said was Bean, which was a songwriter. But he didn't mention a family member. And he could say Bean because you brought up Whitney first. Again, Drake is the one who brought the messiness into this battle. And a lot of revisionist history is going around and is happening right now as if Kendrick just took it too far and Drake was responding to the too farness from Kendrick. No, Kendrick was responding to Drake taking it to a place that it shouldn't have went to. You know, I said this in Euphoria. You can hear the seriousness in how Kendrick is taking it from a hip hop cultural rap perspective versus Drake, who's trying to play internet games in this battle. You're trying to use popularity, gossip, and internet games in this battle, and it backfired on him.
And it's clearly because of the boy. The honorable thing is to give me the.
And real quick, when he was talking about you, we already know why you went number one. He's basically referring to like that going number one because of Drake. You know what I mean? So kind of go back into I'm the one who put the first number one in your hand. It's kind of just playing off of what he said in push-ups, you know. So Kendrick Lamar is a legit hit maker himself in his own right.
You right about fuck the big three. It's only Big D in this video proof. Our son should go play at the park. Two light-skinned kids, the shit would be cute. Unless you don't want to be seen with anyone that isn't blacker than you.
Now, I find it weird how a lot of people want to talk about how Kendrick made this about race. Nah, he didn't. Rick Ross made this about race. Kendrick made this about culture. Drake is making it about race. Look at what he's talking about here. Rapping like you're trying to get the slaves free. You mess with vanilla cream. You messing with your vanilla cream to build up your self-esteem. You messing with a mixed queen. You look at what he just said right here. Are two kids to play together, two light-skinned kids? It will be cute. Or you don't want to be seen with anybody that's not blacker than you. Drake is the one. Like I said, Rick Ross brought up race. Kendrick brought up culture. And Drake continued the talk of race. Proof is in the lyrics. It's in the songs.
Get it, we got it. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. We get that you like to put gin in your juice. We get that you think that you bishop and juice. When you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense cause she bigger than you? Your back is up against the curb. You digging for dirt, she be digging for proof. Why did you move to New York? Is it cause you live in that bachelor life?
When I heard, and I'm telling you, man, when I was first listening to this, a lot of this stuff just shocked me at the pure fact that he was doubling down on this stuff. Like, he really made it messy. That was mostly my reaction. I was like, oh, this is getting messy. Messy. I never really took the time to think like, is this true? Because I don't know. I come from an era, I grew up in an era that like, how will we know if any of this is true? I don't know these people personally. So like the truth aspect of it wasn't really like a main factor for me personally. Now I know for a lot of fans online and on either side, they try to make this a determining factor based on if what one of the persons is saying is true, then he won the battle. I never really looked at it like that. I was just thinking to myself, listening to this on first listen, like, dang, like he really taking it there. Like unnecessarily, like you really making this super messy. He elaborated on the scheme of Michael Jackson by talking about Jermaine, which is J. Cole, talking about how he's your brother, but you want to keep him out of the light. So kind of how like Michael Jackson outshined Jermaine Jackson, who was a talented musician and singer within his own right of the Jackson family. But because Michael Jackson was popping at the time with Off the Wall and Thriller, he was the bigger star, and it kept Jermaine Jackson from reaching a status that he probably could have went or could have had if Michael Jackson wasn't around. So he said, you call him, you call Jermaine your brother. When Kendrick said, yo, Top Dog, who they think they playing with, extortion my middle name as soon as you jump off of that plane. And then also about like that when Kendrick said, I got two T's with me. We snatching chains and burning tattoos is up. So this is him kind of responding to that with I head to Delilah with all of my ice. I jumped off the plane and head to Delilah with all of my ice,
Delilah with all of my ice. Hit the Delilah with all of my ice. This shit gotta be over by now for anyone out here that's calling it right. You dead. You dead. You dead. There's nowhere to hide, there's nowhere to hide, you know what I mean. They hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen. The picture you painted ain't what it seemed. You did.
That was Family Matters. After hearing this, I was just shocked at the fact that Drake took it here. I wasn't concerned with how Kendrick was going to respond to it. I was thinking like, how messy is this going to get? I knew Kendrick was going to respond, and I was wondering, is Kendrick gonna keep this about bars, or is he gonna get in the mud with him? Because he did give you a 2-song warning. It was clear, Euphoria, he was warning you. Definitely in 616 in LA, he was letting you know if you go to a place where we already talked about, bro, you keep bringing up my family, dog, it's about to get spooky. Now, this is the thing about Family Matters and kind of hindsight of all of this, especially with the lawsuit that is out. I told you we're going to put a pin into the rollout. And think about that. Drake is trying to say that UMG promoted Not Like Us. And we're going to get to all of that, but I just wanted to throw this tidbit out there. Drake was trying to say UMG was trying to insert it themselves and help promote a song to make it bigger than what it was. But they didn't do that for him. But you literally had a rollout. You use UMG money to have a rollout for a song. You were hitting up publications. You told Kai Cenat to stay on stream. Maul was promoting your record. Academics were promoting your record. Different hip hop media was promoting this record before it dropped. You dropped an intro to it. And then you also shot a music video. That's using UMG money to promote a diss record that is filled. Literally, the whole thing, when you're talking about Kendrick Lamar, is filled with allegations that have yet to be proven. Calling him a domestic abuser, saying that one of his children isn't his, saying that his best friend is the father of his children, saying that his woman is screaming out for help. Like, you really have a whole song, 7 minutes of you just defaming not only Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, The Weeknd, his manager, ASAP Rocky. You bringing up ASAP Rocky's girl. You're bringing Rihanna into. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's very clear to me that the entitlement of Drake and his ego is what's really hurted him about this situation. But that's neither here or there because, like I said, I just wanted to point that out after hearing this. I know there's a lot of revisionist history and there's a lot of people trying to change, trying to switch the narrative of what took place. But like I said before, Drake is the one who inserted personal things into this battle with push ups by bringing up Whitney. Kendrick warned him to stop doing that. He warned him again in 616 in LA. And even with the trolling, Drake was using Kendrick's manager. And then you bring up his best friend, his woman, his children in this song. And then on top of that, like I pointed out, Rick Ross was the one who brought up race. Kendrick just brought up culture, the cultural difference. You double down on the race talk and try to flip it and act like Kendrick brought it up when you brought it up in this mix between you and Kendrick. You brought up race. So if we gonna call it right, like he's saying, then we gotta call it right. That middle part was crazy. That first part to me was corny. The last part was mid. I'm gonna give it a mid plus. I'm gonna give this a mid plus. But little did I know what was about to take place about 20 to 30 minutes later. And that's where we're going to leave off at. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one, man. Look, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what was your thoughts after listening to Family Matters. Did you listen to Bury Alive Part 2 before going to Family Matters? When you listened to Family Matters, did you think it was over? Let me know in the comments, man. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. The next episode, we finna get into Meet the Grams. I'll see you there. Peace.